I want to talk to you about healer wound today, how to detect that wound within and how to address that. And it's an incredibly important knowledge for those of you, my beautiful feminines. We're all healers, right? All divine feminines are healers. But it's especially important for those of you who actually choose a path of a healer. So you will be working as spiritual practitioners, as readers, coaches, shamans, Reiki healers, whatever your craft is, psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists, whatever your craft, if even teachers, even people who work with other people, right? But it's very important to address that wound within us and always check in with yourself. Where are you with this wound? And I'll tell you in a moment why. But I also want to mention that sometimes, even for people that are not healers, that wound is active and that wound exists. And it's very important to realize that because it often causes confusion and people think that they're empaths, but they're actually wounded. So let's break this down. Let's unbox it. How do we know that we have that healer wound, right? So, one of the indications is that we want to force healing on someone, right? So, we see someone that is a wounded bird, that is not doing amazing, that is struggling in life in whatever shape or form, and we want to force that on them. We think that we know what's going to be better for them. So, we're going to force advice on them, force that healing on them, push them to do certain things. And we really take it sort of a personally, right? And we start to also treat that very personally, in a sense, if they're not listening to our advice, if they're not listening to our guidance, if they're not taking and receiving our healing energy and they're not changing their life, we take it as a personal failure. We take it as something that we failed as a person or as a healer to help them with. So whenever you take it personally, whenever you want to push that on someone, you do have that healer wound. Another indication is that you cannot detach from feelings and emotions of others, right? You cannot sort of detach, and it allows you to overwhelm you. So you think about, and this is where I say that oftentimes people confuse their own wounds, healer wound, and projection of their own unresolved traumas and unresolved fears, explaining it and saying that we're empaths, right? And it's not true, because empathy and true empath, it means that you can feel, really feel, and tap into the emotion of another person. But it doesn't mean that you carry it within you. You carry it with you and it overwhelms you when you have a healer wound, right? So I'm going to give you an example. A lot of women oftentimes say, for example, oh my God, my friend is separating and I cannot stop thinking about this because I am empath. I feel her pain. I cannot sleep. I worry about her. It's not empathy. You're projecting your own fear that maybe you will lose your partner and maybe you will separate one day onto her. If you were an empath, if you were a true balanced empath and a balanced healer, you would be able to connect to her energy, feel empathy, feel compassion, help her, but then detach from that emotion because we don't have to carry it around, right? So it's really important to know, where am I with that wound? Am I overwhelmed? Am I attaching too much to the outcome of the healing, right? And if you don't do that, the danger here is that it causes burnout. It causes you to not be able to do your job as a healer, right? You end up just feeling doubting yourself. Self-doubt is created. Am I doing it right? Am I saying the proper things? Am I healing this person correctly? And you reach burnout because you don't know how to properly detach and replenish yourself. So I want to sort of explain to you how it should look like. What is the healthy state of someone who is a healer, right? So we approach what we do with utmost passion, dedication, and professionalism. Okay, so you connect to people, you go on session. Again, either you're a professional healer, practicing healer, or when you're someone that you just connect to other people, right? It doesn't matter. But you do it with dedication, you do it with passion, you do it with professionalism. You really feel, as you are in a moment, emotion of that person, and that activates your compassion, it activates your unconditional love. You send them healing vibration. You do whatever practice you do, you do that practice, you send them that healing. But once the session is over, once your working hours are over, you detach from everything that happened. You cleanse your energy, right? And we all going to have our own practices. For some of us, it's just on a level of mental level of intention. Some people like to have an actual physical ritual and practice, but you close it out and you detach it. You cannot constantly be returning to these people, to emotions of these people. You have to close your day and then sort of activate your passion within, but the childlike passion to be there for you now, right? To do things that ignite you, that you're interested in, to have some fun in life, to enjoy life. Why? Because this is how we raise our vibration. How are we able to heal people? Through our vibration, through having our vessel always cleared and always set on high vibration. If we attach to the pain, emotions, struggles of people that we work with and people that we heal, and we don't properly detach and properly replenish, we will get depleted very quickly, and we're not going to be able to do our work. We're not going to be able to do our job. So what's the point, right? And I oftentimes share this analogy with you guys with the airplane mask, right? So when the oxygen mask drops, you have to put it on yourself first before you put it to the child that is weaker and needs your assistance. Because if you go unconscious, how else are you going to help someone else? So we really have to take care of ourselves first and make sure that our vibration is high, that we protect our peace, that we protect our vibration, that we clear our vessel. And oftentimes, people who are true healers, strong healers, center healers, we're being received like people that we don't care, because we often know that we're not supposed to watch news. We're not supposed to constantly be in other people's business when it comes to what's going on in the world, what's going on in our friend's life, and constantly be suffering because someone is going through something difficult. And people perceive us sometimes as cold, but we're just detached. We're truly detached. But the ability to detach means that you can truly connect. When the moment is right, we really connect. We feel the pain. If you watch me, you know that I sometimes connect to your energy. I cry during readings. I laugh. I pick up the energy. I really feel it. But then I close the channel. I clear my energy. I detach myself from it. Because if I wasn't able to do it, how would I raise my vibration? How would I clear my vessel? And how would I show up for you the next day? If I was constantly walking around and crying for my clients and for people that I work with and for people in this world that everything is just so unhappy and people are suffering and there's war and there's hunger, how would I ever rise my vibration to actually do something about it? And it's a matrix loop. They want to keep you in that loop. They want to make you feel guilty, that you don't feel bad constantly for what's going on in this world. That's the trickster energy, low vibration energy of current information system, right? And I talk about this all the time. I don't want to go into that topic now because it's a rabbit hole for me. But we really need to be detached. We really need to, most of our days outside of working hours, activate that childlike passion to go into nature, do something that ignites you, do something that makes you laugh, cook, go for a walk, spend time with your pet or people that lift you up, to replenish your energy. Very, very important for someone who actually wants to be a practicing healer. If you have any experience on this, if you're a healer yourself, if you have any tips, leave them in the comments. And if you're just getting started and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments as well.